Hello, welcome pen friends. I'm back with another ink profile. This time it's not part of any series. And today we're doing Herbin Caroube de Chypre. Okay, it's really hard to pronounce, but it is a shimmer ink, and it's got gold shimmer and it's brown, and it's really fun to play with. And thank you to pen friend JS for sending me this sample a long time ago. I've been wanting to play with this one for a long time. Let me show you what it did on this is Tomoe River 52 GSM. Can you see that gold shimmer and that green kind of edging? And it's just amazing. Of course we don't get all of that coming out of a nib, but it's just an ink splatter with its fun, so I could look at that all day. But we will look at how it came out in the nibs, because that's what we're wanting to see, I'm sure. And here we're in the 68 GSM Tomoe River journal. So it is Tomoe River paper, the heavier one, not the 52 like I just showed you. This is the thinner. So here's how it did in the broad nib. And before we start, it is available lots of places, but I jotted down some of my favorite places to order. Goulet Pens has the 50 ml bottle for, well, might as well say $30, and a 2 ml sample for $2.25. And then Jet Pens does sell a nice large sample, a 5 ml sample for $4.95. I think that's your best bet if you're wanting to try it, because you could actually use it for a while and write with it a lot with that much and find out. But Anderson Pens, perhaps you're like me and order from there too sometimes, 3 ml, $2.50. So that's just a couple of ideas. I was going to try to see if we could see the shimmer, but it's difficult to show. I think it's probably going to come out when I least expect it. I can actually see it right there at parts, but let's continue, and hopefully we'll get glimmers of it here and there. In the broad nib, it took about 35 seconds to dry, and it was real flowy and good in that nib. Then in the Goulet 1.5 stub, it brightens up the ink quite a bit. In fact, it almost heads toward reddish, like a rust-colored ink. And when we get into this nib, 30 seconds was going to be the dry time, because 25 it was still smearing. And it was a little bit drier in the stub nib than it was in my broad. That's a Jen Hao X750 with a Goulet broad nib on it. I've changed from the Serendipity, so I wanted to point that out. Okay, down in the Lamy Fine nib, you know, we don't have that same shade. It changes shade. So this ink is going to look different depending on the pen you use. And that happens a lot, but I think it's a little more drastic with this ink than some others. 25 seconds to dry. My first impressions, nice gold shimmer when it shows up. And it does show up, but it's hard for me to see it at times. And I run into that a lot with shimmer inks. Oh, and must remember to agitate the pens. So if I forgot to roll and kind of agitate the converter within the pen, then I wasn't happy with how things were coming out. So that was something I had to be right on top of. Here is the chromatography. That's stunning. It shows like a little lingering permanence, not permanence, but it shows that some of it's going to stay behind, and then it goes up into this beautiful pinkish, pink and yellow, so that explains how sometimes it looks red. And right up in there, I don't see a lot of the shimmer sticking around there. Let's see if we can get it to show. It's hard. It's really hard. But let's look at the water test. Okay, so 20-minute submerged water test on Rhodia 90 gram. And we see that we can still read it, but it doesn't have as much readability as some of the ones that we've seen, where, you know, when you're all done, that you can read it real clearly. But there it is anyway. So I thought that was quite interesting. You're not dealing with any kind of permanence, but you could still kind of read it. Okay, let's look at the other paper samples and see what we can see. Okay, I'm in a new Rhodia one. Well, this is not new to me. My pen friend Nancy made this a long time ago for me, and I actually did use it in Vermont, so I retained those pages for, oh, I'm wondering if you could see some of that shimmer, but oh geez, this is really hard. Okay. The Rhodia 80 GSM dot grid paper. Here it is in the broad nib. Again, it was nice and smooth in that nib. I liked it a lot. 25 seconds and it was dry. I don't know. I see some shading here and there, but not very, very much in the nibs I'm using. I do see it. I maybe see it quite a bit more in the stub nib. And here it felt like these two nibs were similar in how it was displaying. Color-wise, I mean. Yeah. 20 seconds to dry in the stub. See, it was just feeling a little bit drier in that one. But with all those particles, it's just amazing, you know, that it can work. And it writes pretty well, too. And then in the Lamy Fine nib, oh, this, I don't know why it's moving like that. 15 seconds to dry, quite a bit of a different color. It appears, I don't want to say darker, but yeah, it does appear a little darker in that nib and not quite as warm and brown as it did in the stub and the broad. So I put stub and broad nibs show this ink the best, at least for me anyway. You may get different results with your pens. A little light in the fine nib. Okay. Yeah, because what I'm referring to is the brightness. I really like the brightness here that we get. Okay, we'll turn them over afterwards. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you the CVS Caliber notebook. Okay, the inexpensive little notebook. Oh, okay, the shimmer came out to play there, but of course that's painted on quite heavily, and that gold shimmer just went crazy. And you can see it in the writing too. It's just harder with what I have for equipment to show you that here. And I'm not seeing a whole lot, even when I can see it. I see a little. It's very subtle. My favorite ink in the shimmer inks is another one by the J.R. Ba that is the Amethyst de Laurel. And I see more shimmer with this one, so I don't know whether it's just me or what, you know, or maybe it's the purple. Maybe the purple allows it to be seen more. I'm just not sure. Broad nib, it took 30 seconds to dry on this paper. Okay, no shading at all on this paper that I can see. And then in the stub nib, 20 seconds to dry. It was a good deal drier and it wasn't all that great. Yeah, I put stub struggles on CVS paper. It did. It just kind of struggled. The fine nib was okay though. And here it is. It took, we'll give it 20 seconds because 17 it was still smearing. You know, it's pretty. I didn't see a whole lot of shimmer there, but if I tilt it, my eye can pick that up just a little bit. So it seemed real subtle. I think maybe if it's writing you want to do with this, which it's fountain pen ink, so yes, we do. I think maybe you'll have to pick and choose your nibs, and you'll know your pens and nibs better than I do. Here is the Georgia Pacific copy paper. And this is the typical stuff you'll find in your office where you don't have any control over what you have to write on. And I can see that shimmer every once in a while, but it's hard to show. So it did spread. I wouldn't call it out and out horrible feathering, but there's a lot of spread. It's a lot wider. The line width is wider on here. 20 seconds to dry in the broad nib. And then it spread in the stub as well, but not a lot. Not to where I'd call it out and out feathering. And then I didn't really feel like it feathered in the fine nib. If it did, it was just maybe when it was the nib was staying on the page too long or something, but your best option for not having terrible feathering would be a finer nib. But I did not see a lot of shimmer. It's there. You can pick it up every now and then. At the same time though, the painted on seeped through a little. And other than that, it was just very few places where you could almost see that it was trying to seep through. It's not bleed through though. So it behaved pretty good on that cheap paper. Let's lay it down. It just appears that it lightens some. At least it lightens from the two better papers anyway. Over here, these papers tends to lighten up on the CVS and on the Georgia Pacific copy paper. So we looked at the back of that one. Let's look at the back of the, oh dear, okay, so there is ghosting, but it's not very prevalent, and because we have a dark ink on the back, I don't think it really just even distracts me on the back of there. We got a clean page to look at with the Rhodia though. And we just find the normal amount of ghosting. Of course it does, because it's a dark brown. But there's no bleed through or anything like that. It behaved good. Okay, and on our Tomoy River 68 GSM, normal ghosting, no bleed through. I think once you got your next, whatever we're going to do over here, on the page, you'd be perfectly happy with it. Okay, it's time to look at comparisons. Now, this was a chore. This was a challenge. That's the right word. I always love doing these. But I didn't have anything that really matched today's ink. And it was tough to find anything that came close. But I tried. So our ink of the day is in the middle. It is the Caroube de Chypre. Okay, it's really hard to say. That's only the second time I tried on camera, and that should probably be the last. But I feel like a lot of red comes out. You know, it started to kind of remind me of those, and we have a few toward the end that I'll show you, like canyon rust. But that's only the inner part, the chromatography part. That's not necessarily how it presents. It presents as a brown, and it's got that shimmer, which we can see if we tilt it toward better light. There we go. But I was just not impressed with my ability to find anything that matches it whatsoever. So in my collection, and a lot of these I only have because people have sent me samples. So I'm lucky to have the ones that I do have. Monteverde brown sugar. That was interesting how that compared. And it does come across as a lot browner, but without the shimmer, we know that the shimmer really affects how it comes through to us as a color. And then even like down here, this looks really red, the Diamine Rustic Brown. It like confuses me. When I go to put it away, it says Rustic Brown, so I would typically go and file it in my brown section, but it's red. Come on, people, it's red. You know. So we've got all kinds of them on here to compare, like Noodler's Walnut, which has a lot more permanence, but I felt like the browns in those two were quite interestingly connected, you know, looked similar. I thought Kaveco Caramel Brown was just way out of the league because it's a dark brown, traditional dark brown, I thought. Same really with the Montegrappa Coffee Brown. Very interesting. And then here, the Sitz Krusnock Chestnut Brown. I felt like your base color was similar, but then inside it comes out more brown, and it doesn't have, the Sitz Krusnock just doesn't have any resistance, I don't think, to the water. I'm not impressed as far as matching. I don't think I've found any matches. Whoops. Okay, but let's look at some more. I don't even know if I mentioned them all, but you've got plenty of time there to look at them, I think. Here's another that's traditional brown more. It's Birmingham Pens John Arbuckle Coffee Bean. And that's a nice brown. There's no shimmer going on, but that's a nice brown. I like that. And then we get in, I've got three reddish browns, or, you know, we get confused on these because Noodler's Beaver looks brown, red to me. And yet, there's something in common going on there. It's just that this is much brighter and no shimmer, of course. And then, oh, Noodler's Antietam. I was thinking of pen friend Sue on this one. I thought she might like to see how this compares. And it's got quite a bit of resistance to the water, maybe even more than this one. But we're not talking about the same color at all, really. And of course, in a nib, it's not going to look like this. It's going to come out different, but this is quite red. I think sometimes I'm colorblind, but not quite, but I get confused. Monteverde Canyon Rust. At first I thought this was going on the panel. I thought, oh, that's just like Canyon Rust. But no, once I saw them together, I realized that's a long way. This one's much closer even to some that are really brown. Well, especially this Sitz Krusnock ink. In fact, if I was, I don't know, I would say if I was trying to find something without shimmer, I might go look into that one. I'm not. I'm trying to use the inks I have, but okay. So a couple more that I think are really more brown, and one almost made the panel. Pelican Edelstein Smoky Quartz. This one is just a long way away from today's, I think, and yet it would have made a panel on there with Kaveco. So with the caramel brown. It's very interesting. And then the Lit de Thé by J. Herbin is, you know, it's brown. It's traditional brown, and it's in fact even more than any of the rest of them on this panel. But that way you could see how it compared. And then this one almost made the panel because I thought sight unseen that I was looking at something that, I don't know why, I thought the dark chocolate was going to look like it. And it was, I was toying between these two, like, well, if this one doesn't make the panel, if the Krishna dark chocolate doesn't, then why would I put Kaweco? Well, you just make those decisions, just based on, you know, a representative. And the Kaweco was a little bit less dark on, well, that's not really true. I have a hard time with descriptors on this. This one is a more exotic, let's put it that way. So I decided to stick with the Kaweco. Okay, so what did I think of this ink? Well, I've got, I think, 7 more pages left in this, and this book has grown on me, this ink swatch plot log by the pen thing, because at first I just wasn't used to using anything quite like this. And now I realize, yeah, I'll be able to look back on all the 30 inks, 30 days, and all of that 10 series we did, and anything else I put in here, and I can be reminded of my impressions and so forth. So you could see that shimmer, whoops, it's coming through loud and clear on the little swatch, which I got carried away. I just like looking at the shimmer so much, I kept going. So this is the 1670. I'm not going to say the name again. It's named after some sort of little pods that grow on a tree in the Mediterranean that are supposed to be well known for medicinal or, you know, health purposes. I'd like to do some more research. I just didn't have time to do that right now, but that'll be fun. So beautiful gold shimmer, good flow. Okay, I put good, not great. Like, it's good. Anytime you have the shimmer particles, it slows it down, and nicely saturated. It's almost an 8 on saturation. I like that, and maybe even higher, you know. Flow, I gave it good, which is like right in the middle of 5. The shading was low for me in the pens or nibs that I'm using. I didn't encounter bleed through. I did encounter feathering on the copy paper, but I'm hesitant to give it a bad mark for that. I mean, we know we're really not, you know, most inks don't do well on copy paper. And then dry time was about average, so I gave it a 5. Okay, whatever we're seeing in sheen and halo, I'm only seeing it when it's splattered on generously like this. So I don't know, I toy back and forth with whether to give it credit for that. Although this is spectacular. You could certainly have fun in a Tomoe River ink journal. And even on the CVS one, you know, lined, of course, most of that paper is lined. So, but let's see, shimmer I thought ranged from a 2, almost a dud, up to about a 5, just depending on the situation and the lighting and my eyes and which nib I had it in. I have a feeling that I could probably get more out of it in my Noodler's Ahab. I'd hate to have to clean that pen after I put this in, but I didn't have any trouble cleaning my little Serendipity. I'm going to go get that pen. Okay, so I am so timid, or I'm so freaked out by shimmer inks that I wanted to try it first in this pen. Not because I don't like this pen, I do. I trust this brand. I know that it'll clean out, but I also know that not all of my pens can I just take the nib and feed out easily like I can with this one. So I thought I'd try with this one first to see will my normal cleaning just with water work on it, and it did. I did go back and do a second rinse because I had seen a couple particles in the feed, but this cleaned up really well out of here. I didn't have any troubles. It still looks like brand new, and it is a relatively new pen. My other Serendipity, you can't see inside to what's going on once you put it back together. And what I was seeing, which I probably should have kept it inked up, but I wanted to clean it so I could tell you what happened. I was seeing the shimmer particles just kind of pool up and stay in parts, and I thought, yeah, that's why they tell us don't leave your pens laying around with shimmer ink. Write with them often, and also keep them clean. Don't let them go more than a couple weeks. without cleaning them for sure, because I mean, you're going to be able to get it out, but your pain in the neck of having to pull the entire nib and feed, that could really bother you on some pens. So a lot of people I know just stick with, you know, the pens they know they can clean. Now, I'm not using anything for testing that I can't pull apart. My Genhao X750 is easy to pull that all out. Actually, you can see some gold kind of, whoops, if I could get it to focus, you could see that it collects on there, and I'll be writing with it more today. That's interesting. Yeah, you could see that. But it's not totally dirty. That's going to be different, though, than just using a bulb syringe without having to pull the feed. I'll probably have to pull the whole thing to get it nice and clean. And then my Lami's never a problem to clean, but you can see that gold shimmer going on in there. You can see it. I love to use the shimmer inks sometimes, but I'm lazy and I don't like heavy cleaning. I'm on my way toward trying the next ink. I'm not wanting to spend a half an hour cleaning a pen. That's terrible. I just told you. Okay, let's try the Nick Stewart technique with this ink. I've got things ready pretty much. Okay. And I did get out Diamine Pumpkin. It depends on how this goes. We may use that orange ink with this. I'm just not sure. So here are my pens. Oh, I didn't get this cleaned off yet, but that's okay. All right. That's the ink I've been using. Whoops. Okay. Now I have one more thing to do here. Manuel, I'll be right with you. We've got to get this agitated before we use it. So I got to do that. We're continuing our projects, so I know he's working on some shelves, and then I'll be able to clean the dining table. We've got it covered with, well, I've got it covered with paints and sewing things and paper craft stuff, and now I'm going to have shelves for that, so that's going to be cool. Okay, I know I'm going to have to work faster before those particles settle down again. Ah, looks like I may have had a little bit of, yeah, a little spotting from the blue the other day. Oh well, that'll just make it more interesting, I guess. Okay, we don't have particles down in the bottom. Let's just make sure. I can't wait to see this. I have no idea what this will do. This is different than just using a syringe to blob it on. I think we're going to get some sparklies. Neat. Okay. Ooh, I like this part right here so far. Okay, let's see what happens now. Every time I pick this up, I'm going to have to remember to agitate it, or otherwise it'll just be the top color, the brown. Oh, okay. Oh, I might have got a little carried away with that. Water this time. Huh, yeah, I think it will be fun to introduce a little orange just for the heck of it. So Diamine Pumpkin. I don't know. With my sense of color compatibility, anything can happen. But oh, so this is not quite the reactive sort of. I don't remember ever using this one in a Nick Stewart. Maybe I did, but I don't remember. Oh, look at that. That's neat. That gives an otherworldly kind of view on things. Huh. Oh, look, the water's coming down and it's moving as we speak. It's moving right along. There's a lot that goes on with this, and you can tell this one did dry a little bit different than I expected. So that's all mixing. That'll continue to happen. I want to do two things. I want to do the lower part and then add in the Lamy fine nib stuff. But I don't want to hit that top part. Okay. Let's see whether we can get any movement out of this. Ooh, look at that. Got a little. Huh. And I can see the particles. I'm not sure if you can, and if I pick it up right now, it's all going to like roll over. We'll have to look at this after it's finished. After it dries, when we go to the next ink. But from where I'm sitting, I'm seeing sparkle. It's turning like purple up here. It is. It really is. Like I can see sort of like purple and pink, and That's weird. So we'll have some exotic tree or something. Or something would be the word for it, I guess. Huh. I have a feeling that's all going to kind of fuzz out, but that's pretty. Whoop. Okay. Almost done. And this, oh, this one's going to be long. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Okay, Chris. A little more orange. And then we will look at what some of the possibilities for next. I'm trying to keep it more open-ended after having 2 long series, 30 and then 10. I'm trying to keep it like so I can just do whatever strikes me for a little while. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Rather than just locking into the series, a new series. Just yet, anyway. We'll get there, but I guess we want a little more of the brown down here. Although I'm not sure what we're going to get. Something totally different. Okay, now I'm just being ridiculous, but I will be eager to see how that looks when it dries. So what I have is a little ring of, a little mini cola ring of shimmer inks. And so we've done this one today. We've done the shimmer brown with gold. And then I have another one that's sort of brownish, or it's just a really warm, pretty color, Brandy Dazzle by Diamine. And then Diamine Blue Pearl. These are all gifts that have come in from pen friends. I should have another swatch that'll tell me who sent me this one. I bought this one a long time ago. I've got just a little less than 2 mil of Diamine Moon Dust, but I absolutely love that one. And then here's one that came in recently, Diamine Golden Ivy from a pen friend GD. Gosh, look at that gold shimmer. And then here's another one. Oops, oh, don't do that, Chris. You're going to be redoing things. From pen friend MC, Diamine Magical Forest. That's a green, but we've got, first we had the Golden Ivy with the gold sheen, and then this one is a green with a silver, shimmer. So we've got gold and silver shimmer. And then we've got the new to me that 2 pen friends sent. So I've got plenty to review this from BF and MW. Diamine Alexandrite Shimmer. This is the Niche Pens collaboration with Diamine, and it's gorgeous. It's got a red sheen and I think that's silver shimmer, but we'll find out. You know, I won't promise which is next because I think I just need a little freelance here. Okay, I gotta go now, but thank you for being here and let me know what you think of today's. I think it's a real interesting ink. I think there are some options that are not shimmer if you don't care for shimmer. And I also think this is a fun one to play with. I mean, it just went nuts on here. That's worth the whole, you know, cleanup that I'll have to do later. Okay, bye for now.